our recording artist set up?
Yep, and I think we're good to go.
Alrighty, well, hello YouTube and other IGC members who may be watching this. We're gonna continue on with our Masks adventure for this week, since after missing last week, apologies for that. But we left off on a nice bit of a cliffhanger, so hopefully if you're watching that playlist, a bit of anxiety has been gripping onto you. Last we left our heroes, they had kind of come collect around Jalem's apartment to check up on her because she'd been kind of AWOL for a while. And just as the issue ended, an old villain apparently, come back from the grave, had busted into her apartment, and that didn't seem good. So we'll pick back up, page will open. What is your initial reactions, heroes?
Well, Julian's reaction, like, oh, you've gotta be kidding me.
Does he look beat up? Like he looks like he just dug himself out of a grave or something?
So it's interesting. Jalem, you didn't hurt the gargoyle any further after he had collapsed before.
Right.
Yeah, so he really, in his fight, he hadn't taken like any wounds per se, and this figure in front of you looks fine. He doesn't look like he's been hurt. Okay. Well, you had heard the sound of broken glass as he apparently vaulted in through your third floor window or whatever it was. And sure enough, with one arm already becoming larger and covered in these stony protrusions, he's smashing into the vials and weird chemistry equipment she had set up on one of the desks.
And Dylan just goes, "Do you mind?"
You'll hear like a deep grunt as he says, "No."
I just turn the gargoyle to Jillum, and I'm gonna guess you're not exactly friends, are you?
No, this is the guy who's been stalking me.
And I have like a been there, done that kind of attitude. But can I yeah, because he's obviously aggressive. I'm gonna try to disorient him. So I
Okay.
guess that would be unleashing my powers.
Well, explain a bit about how you want to go about this. What would you like it to look?
So what I would do is I'd start making like flashing lights, like flash and blink in front of his eyes to try and set him like off balance, so we can figure out. Well, we don't have that much time, but we have like a split second to figure out what we want to do with him. If we want to like knock him out, or if we just want to run out of the apartment.
Gotcha. So for the yeah, normally I would say making some flashes wouldn't be that big of a deal, but you're trying to make like almost a flashbang type thing go off here. So that's going to push you a bit. So let's go ahead and do the unleash your powers.
Which one's that one again? Oh, freak. Okay. Oh, so close.
Yeah, very close. Unfortunately, you attempt your lights come because of they're like a sound translation for you, right?
Yeah. So I'd probably like I'd have to sing or something.
Yeah, so you do a
So I
an
just
opera singer quartet.
Well, since we're
my
entering
voice
combat, do
cracks.
we have a team to spend?
You would have one. You have not fully entered the combat of this scene.
Okay.
Yeah, because we have to like set out all those guidelines before we start, right? So we don't know. We're not exactly in battle.
Correct. But yeah, you do a solid attempt. That light probably would have definitely disorientated normal people, but the gargoyle just kind of waves it by, kind of lumbers one step, thud, two step, thud, closer.
I'll like shirk back. At least I tried. Clear my throat.
And Jilin.
Emily,
Oh, good.
say Emily Voidspawn, what are your characters doing?
Trying to calm the
Calm the.
doggies.
Okay.
Yeah, all
Wow.
5 dogs are. All 5 dogs, even the big lumbering one, is cowering behind the group.
I am going to pull a Metroid and morph into a ball and try to roll between this monstrosity's legs. And then once I'm behind him, lash out, try to grab both of his legs and trip him while he's walking forward.
So the rolling into the ball thing is not going to be a problem. He's big, he's strong and durable, but not, super intelligent or very dexterous, and you are easily able to go between his legs. Um, I'll go ahead and say you don't really need to make a roll because it's not that hard to trip him up. How are you just going to wrap around his legs? You want to make handcuffs? How are you going to?
I was just figuring I'd kind of like how a whip would wrap around a leg, just do that with both my arms and just pull back with them once they've coiled.
Gotcha. And you do that, and bigger they are, harder they fall, and thud as he hits the floor face.
Can we get out of here?
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah, like I suggest we should leave because I don't want to fight in this apartment. And I don't want to fight this big bulking monster.
Yeah, smart, considering that half of these chemicals can burn you alive.
And I don't want to be burnt alive. At least not my face.
Never the face.
Yeah, that would be a loss.
It'd be a hard loss.
Um,
So does someone go racing towards the door?
I'm going. Later.
Yeah, you are bustling out of there. You're feeling swaggy because you just took down this intimidating villain pretty quickly, you thought. You open the door. You collide into something heavy. You take a step back. There's another large man in a suit looking down at you.
I immediately close the door.
He knocks on it.
Jillem, I think you have more company.
and Jilin just looks at. She looks around, trying to basically assess the situation. Like, what the hell's going on?
Okay, let's roll that.
Okay. Superior. See that going well for me. Alright.
Nice. So you will
Oof.
to ask me one of those questions before I forget. Don't forget to mark potential for that miss.
For that
Yeah, I
one
got
miss
it.
die? Oh. Okay.
No, but you hit Jalem, so you can go
Okay.
ahead and ask me one question.
What here can I use to provoke Seymour, her giant plant pet, to go on her to actually go attack for her?
So what? I don't know much about Seymour. Can you explain a bit more about?
It's a much larger than average Venus flytrap that has some intelligence to it. Basically, you know the plant from Little Shop of Horrors?
Familiar with the concept, I've never seen it.
It's kind of like that. It's always asking to eat, what Jillian says later, or eat a pigeon or a squirrel, just not a person. And so basically, how can she provoke it to attack this gargoyle person?
So I'd imagine maybe you regularly feed it with something, maybe like a nutrition supplement. You're a scientist. That sounds like something
Right.
you would. Maybe there's like a test tube or something you keep near it and put a little bit of the concentrated goodness on a cracker, and that's its meal or something. If you
Right.
dumped that on the head of the gargoyle, that would be really tasty.
Okay. So Jillian will do that on her next, or if she can do it now, she would.
Yeah, go ahead. There's not as strict of a initiative type thing.
Hmm. So she's actually going to rush forward with, it just for posterity's sake, it's named Seymour, with Seymour's favorite flavor, so to speak, and then just like throws it at the gargoyle guy in the room, and it's like a paste.
He had just been trying to stand up using his bigger arm to kind of lift himself off the floor. As soon as his face lifts, splat, covered in the paste.
Seymour, dinner.
And as the plant is stirring, you will hear again highlight knock knock knock.
I'm getting the heck away from that door.
Lock it first.
Okay, I'll go back to lock it, and then I'll like run behind Beatbox.
Also, watch your legs. Seymour here still has a hard time discerning what's food and what isn't.
So we get a cool split panel of Seymour comically clamping the mouth on top of the head of the first gargoyle, looking something like straight out of Mario with the piranha plant just like flailing on top of him. And on the other side of the panel, this next knock becomes a giant hand sticking through the door as he knocks very hard.
It's Johnny.
What do we do with that?
And Jalemta shouts, "What do you people want?"
Crash, crash. 2 more windows break. 2 more suit-wearing men stand up in your bathroom and guest bed.
Oh,
Where are all these people coming from?
I am going to make myself into a tripwire in front of the door, so when this guy does blindly break through, he'll trip over me.
Absolutely, and that's going to have exactly the kind of effect you wanted it to have. Another gargoyle-like figure face plants as he enters the door. Now that you all have had a good chance to look at them, as they're trying to pick themselves up, one of them still has the plant on his head. These are a bunch of suit-wearing guys that look remarkably alike. Maybe one of them's blonde and some of the others are brown-haired, but they all look really similar, and they are all becoming the exact same stone gargoyle as they use their abilities.
hi, Agent Smith. Can I do another assess to see if the fire escape is a viable exit strategy? Like, it's not one of the questions I can ask other than what here can I use to escape, but that's a bit broad.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a fair thing, and I don't think you really need to roll for that. I mean, there's no one immediately there. The window leading out to it might be broken, but there's no one out there currently.
Mm-hmm. Jillian will actually like start like barking out orders for, and she'll specifically say, Beatbox, Highlight, and Azure, take the dogs, use the fire escape, and get out of here. Like she won't use their actual names. Not that she knows Highlight's name.
You want us to go by ourselves?
Go.
All right. Well, come on. Take the dogs and let's go.
What have
I'll
you
just
been?
like split my hand into a bunch of leashes.
That's not weird.
How are you helping the dogs, Emily?
I'm trying to get them to pay attention to like go down the stairs enough that we can get them out.
And it helps that she can carry one of them, the Chihuahua.
Right.
How do you carry the Chihuahua? On your shoulder or one arm?
She'll probably stick him in the like athletic bag that she always carries, so he can look out, but she doesn't have to use her hands.
Head just sticking out of the duffel bag.
Yeah, Paris Hilton style.
Nice. I approve.
So between those two getting the dogs, I'd imagine that maybe Highlight's the first one on the fire.
Oh yeah, heck yes.
As soon as you step onto it, a very large scythe blade comes out of seemingly nowhere and hovers in front of your
Like just a random scythe. No one's
Ye-
holding it or anything.
just the blade. And as your eyes kind of follow it, very zoomed in to a razor point, it's attached to an arm, which is just coming out of a cloaking device, as the rest of the cloaking device fails, and there's a supervillain leaning against the fires.
Oh no. Do I recognize this person?
Let's see, he's got two large blades sticking perpendicular out of his arms and an almost insectile like armor. You might not recognize him, but you'd probably put two and two together with his appearance and a name you've heard. This is Praying Mantis.
uh...
I had to sit with that knowledge all week. I hate him too.
I just be like praying mantis aesthetic. So cliche.
And he lifts up his goggles, the insect-like visor, and looks down at you with beady black eyes, and he just grunts. You're not the girl.
The girl. You mean Jillim?
He'll grunt, kind of not quite withdraw the blade from your throat, and look past you into the window and sees the chaos going on, and there smiles. And now we'll enter combat.
Oh no.
So in order to do this, we're gonna do the move called Enter a Battle as a Team, which does require you guys, you need to tell me who is acting as your leader in this scene.
Nose goes, it ain't me.
Well, Jillim already ordered us to do something, so I figure it could be her.
It's her apartment. I'm inclined to say Jillim as well.
Oh dear.
Right.
I will apologize in advance.
Jillim, do you have influence over every one of your teammates right now?
Checking. I have influence over Rainbow and Acer. And I lost influence from Highlight, I think it was like 2 sessions ago.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't. That would be a +1 team if you had, but since you don't, Jillim, what is your purpose in this?
Oh, my purpose in this is just to get everyone out and, get them out and uninvolved because this is her problem. She's not going to involve them if she can help it.
So that would seem to me like the answer to this is gonna be a no, but is that everyone else's purpose in this fight?
Basically, Jillian wants us to escape, right?
Yes.
Correct. So what do you
Yeah.
guys
Okay. Well, I want to get the heck out of here, so I want to escape.
Void, Emily?
Yeah, I think she wants to get everybody to safety, and that includes the dogs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also including Jillum herself in that, but I'm also looking to just get everybody out safely. It seems like she doesn't care if they raid her apartment, so I have no reason to be concerned about abandoning it either.
Oh, so you guys are kind of unified in that then. So that's a +1 to the team pool. So then the last question is, does any team member right now mistrust Jalim for any reason?
I don't distrust her, but we're not exactly on good terms.
I have no reason to distrust her.
Mm-hmm.
Let's ask it this way, Highlight. Does your rocky patch with her right now, would that make you question her leadership any? Would you not be like 100% cool with?
Right now, I'd be cool with it.
Alright, so that means we're up to, after I take out the ones, you guys have a total of 3 in the team pool. So you have 3 of those to use this. And just as a reminder, you guys can use those working together to give each other, I think it's +1 to certain moves you want to use if you can explain how you're helping, or you can use them selfishly if you don't mind the repercussion.
Like you can use team for yourself.
Correct. You can. When you act selfishly, you have to say how you ignore or insult your teammates, but then you can shift your own labels and use it to affect a role. Like if you shift your danger up, you can add +1 to directly engage a threat for an.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Okay.
And you can do that after you make a roll as well, correct?
Correct. I was just trying to get that copied out for you guys. Here, I'll put it in Discord. Okay, so combat has officially started. Praying Mantis is on the fire escape, looking like he wants to go straight through you, Highlight. And a couple of gnarly gargoyles are in the room still with you, Jalim. Who wants to go first?
I'll let them go first.
Well, I'm gonna try to like blast this guy away. He's really close, right?
Oh, he's right up against you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna basically have like a burst of light explode between us. So hopefully it sends him flying or sends him like somewhere else.
Well, it sounds like you're directly engaging a threat to me.
Oof. Yeah. Okay. I'll do that. Oh my god, thank you.
Nice.
That
So,
shift.
you're gonna get to pick 2 of the options from that list there.
Let me find it. Is it in basic moves?
Correct. So you're free to pick any of the 2, but keep in mind if you don't pick to resist or avoid their blows, they're gonna get to hit you in return.
Okay, so I want to get I want to resist or avoid the blow, and then I want to create an opportunity for my allies to run.
Nice. So I'd imagine you start to collect this ball of light type deal. He's not like new on the block. He's seen supers before. He maybe tries to reach out and not behead you, but definitely get you out of the way. You manage to kind of duck behind him, or duck underneath the swing, let your powers out. Is he gone? You don't see him in front of you. You look around. He doesn't seem to be here right.
Oof. Wonder where he went, but whatever. Let's get out of here.
Y'all gonna follow him down the escape?
As long as the path is clear, we got to get the dogs out.
All right. So who let the dogs out?
I was like, no one quote that song. Oh my god.
So fire escape crew just heading down.
I would try to get everybody to go up because we did land my starship on the roof.
Gotcha. So you guys are
I
going
like that plan.
up. And I imagine you hug the bag real close with the chihuahua in it, Emily.
Of course.
Jalim, there's chaos in your apartment right now. The gargoyles are tearing everything apart, none more so than the one with the plant on his head, who was just freaking out.
And Jillian like has that blue vial, and she has like hid very in a very you know inconspicuous spot, and like she's just like wondering like, so if you people are done, you can get done smashing the place. You can get the hell out. And by the way, I'm sending you the bill.
One of them, I think this might be the one from the door, perks his head up and says, "Oh no, you're coming with us, little one. The higher ups want to talk to
That's weird. I was under the impression I was no longer wanted.
you." He'll chuckle a deep, bassy, chest rumble, and he'll say, "Eh, talk less so, but get some answers, they will."
Jillian just rolls her eyes. This is why I hate. This is why I hate you suits. You idiots don't think. And she just like gestures wildly. Look around you. What do you see?
They actually take a moment to stop what they're doing and look. The one with the plant on his head collapses to the floor again. Uh, what do you want them to see?
They see various like the undestroyed lab equipment, the various plants that are hooked up to said equipment, and there's also plants on the ceiling as well.
So you got a greenhouse problem.
And Jillian just sighs. You guys know nothing about me? And then she will try to unleash her powers and attempt to create a golem from pretty much by freeing Seymour from his pot and having him run loose.
Okay. Uh, let's roll that because that'll be interesting.
Is he going to walk on his roots?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Like,
unsettling.
she's using her powers to expedite his mutated growth, basically letting him walk around and be free from his pot.
Yeah, and I imagine from all the, all the other plants still in your apartment, they start growing too, and they almost like are drawn towards Seymour. They start funneling into him as well, twisting and growing until this big mass of, knotted vines essentially
Mhm.
becomes his body.
And like, Seymour, extra servings of dinner tonight.
And he seems for perhaps it's the nature. How do I say this? You intended it to just augment him, but what you didn't really count on is the sudden ferocity of Seymour.
Mhm.
Because what he's not interested in doing is eating. What he does is punch the shit out of the nearest gargoyle to him and send him hurtling through the roof to the next floor.
How does he punch?
With his
Uppercut?
vines.
Yeah, his vines just coalesce into like a fist-like shape, and he just swings upward.
She said
I'll
goal,
take it.
so
Yeah, and it's like a
I would.
golem, so
So I'm interpreting the partial hit there using the unstable keyword for your powers.
mhm.
It had the effect you wanted. It just also kind of drove him a bit berserk.
I see. That works.
So he's tearing up. Yeah, he's getting the other gargoyles, but also only contributing to tearing up your.
Mm-hmm. Like,
So
oh. Huh.
So, scene flash up to you guys are just about reaching the roof now. You still see Azure, your Kirby craft is parked there exactly how you left.
Okay, everybody, get inside. We'll be taking off shortly.
Is
Does he
there,
say it like a pilot?
Yes.
is there really room for all of us and the doggies?
There's no stable seating for the dogs, I'm afraid.
Alright, well,
We'll just put him on our laps.
yeah, we'll make do. I'm not holding the Great Dane. That's not my issue right now. One of y'all is gonna have to do that.
The Great Dane just jumps on Highlight's back.
Perfect.
Oh, okay, fine. This piggybacking it.
Pretty much. But you know how heavy a Great Dane is, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm dying.
But he looks very content.
So I'd imagine you guys get ready. You're trying to find places to sit. Voice when you're getting ready to make the craft take off. Does your craft have like a windshield type thing? I know might not have like a normal steering wheel, but
Yeah, I guess it would.
so as you're finding your spots and Void's getting ready to become the weird Ditto fuel source thing, you see on the windshield the space is shimmering. It's this weird heat haze effect, and then the stealth field drops. Praying mantis is crouched on your windshield.
Oh no. No.
By the way, I posted an image on the chat to what Seymour turned into.
No.
Why does
Wait,
that
I
look
have to
like
look
a
at it.
JoJo character?
Oh yeah, you can see.
Looks like it's some weird shellless ninja turtle with the piranha plant's head.
I mean, you're not wrong.
So you'll just hear a crack. It's not glass, but as Praymantis's hand kind of smashes on the windshield, he says, "Where do you think you're going? I need bait to stay in its trap."
Shake him off. I tell Void Spawn.
And am I in control of the craft yet, or am I still in the mid process of?
I'd say you could go ahead and be in that ditto.
So he'll just hear this kind of booming voice coming from multiple speakers around the craft that just because it's like built for announcing things to passengers in the craft, so it's pretty loud. Saying, "Where am I going? Up!" And I just launch the craft very quickly into the air.
Those of you in sort of the front area are treated to Praying Mantis nearly falling off, but coming forward with his mantis blade, sticking them into the metal of the front of the ship. He's like digging in and holding.
We have to get him off somehow.
So I imagine we'll get a couple of nice action panels there of the ship kind of swerving and diving and all. With a nice zoom in on the ditto face of Void Spawn in the engine. Right, Jillim, Seymour's done a pretty thorough job of smashing up the gargoyles that are there right now. But you're starting to hear sounds like coming up the stairs and maybe in the floor above and maybe even the floor below. There might still be more of them in this building.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. She looks around and so Seymour basically dealt with all the guys in the room, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's not killing them, so he's kind of still in the process of like thrashing them around.
So what she's going to do is run onto her lab, run onto her desk, sift around through it, and get a secure looking cylinder. Take the vial that she had, put it in there, make sure it's more stable, it doesn't break.
Gotcha.
And she's gonna look up and run upstairs. She's gonna head up the fire escape and gesture for Seymour to follow.
You get acknowledgement, but he doesn't follow you up the fire escape. He goes out the front door of the apartment. He's too big for the door now, so he kind of breaks the frame as he makes a hole for himself.
Oh. Well, that works too.
You get the impression he's going to take the route to the ceiling that goes through more dudes for him to hit.
Oh. Well, that works too, I suppose. And she just continues heading up.
Gotcha. In the ship, you guys see Praying Mantis, just unleashing a stream of expletives as he's trying really hard to hold on. He eventually takes one of his hands off of the mantis-like blades, clicks something in his glove. You're not really sure able to see it. He's gone, but this time he's reappeared almost immediately inside the ship, right in front of Emily.
Oh god.
Hello.
And he'll reach out with his now empty hand and just scruff your what are you wearing right now? Your sport uniform, your hero uniform?
What were we doing last time? Did we just come over to hang out?
Yeah, I
I
feel
think
like
we just came over to check.
She probably would have, just like normal stuff on, but I think she would have left her helmet on because they can't know what her secret is.
Gotcha. So like kind of right under the boom box, like right maybe the neck of your hoodie type of thing. He just scruffs it and kind of lifts you up off the chair a couple inches.
Hey, man, that's not a really nice way to treat a lady.
He scoffs. He would spit at you, but he's wearing a mask, and he says, "Lady, please, you're not even fit to be a sidekick."
How did he even get in here? That's my question. Actually, yeah, I'll even ask him that. How did you even get in here? And I'll try to like zap him with a laser.
Okay, he turns to you as he's still lifting Emily higher and higher. And he smiles and says, "Working for Parasol's got its perks." Clicks something in his wrist again. He and Emily vanish.
Uh-oh.
Azur, your ship's automated systems alert you in a polite and airy voice that one of your passengers has
Has what?
disembarked.
Okay, you cut off, sorry.
Just like, what?
I thought you would cut off and said, like, disembodied. I'm like, what?
Sorry, disembarked.
Thank you.
You've entered the astral plane. Yeah, I don't really know. I imagine I probably have some kind of external sensors, but try to use them as best I can to see where praying mantis may have gone.
Hey, Ryukin.
I return.
Hi.
Everything good?
Yes. Sorry I could not play pretend heroes. I was busy being a real hero.
Ah, sick, dude. You've been waiting
Well
for that.
played.
I was working on that line the entire call.
Okay.
That made me
well,
laugh out loud, so it was a good one.
Well, we will fold you in right away here. What has happened since you've been gone? The gargoyles attacked Jalem's place again. And I say gargoyles because there's been like 5 of them, nearly identical.
Oh, great.
But furthermore, as Jalem bade the others to leave, they met a pro-villain on the fire escape, Praying Mantis, who just abducted Emily from the ship they were taking to try and escape.
That's not...
So I'd imagine you would have been in Azur's escape craft with them, so you would have just seen this villain seemingly teleport in the ship, grab Emily, and teleport away.
Borf?
Borf?
That's it?
Jalem, you bust onto the roof of your apartment building. There's obvious sounds of destruction still inside. And as you kind of come out, I imagine you're looking around for your friends. What is your intention?
She's just trying to get out to see like if they escaped. Like she heard them go up, so like she's wondering how did they get out? Like would the ship be visible?
Right now, probably visible. I imagine him stabbing into the ship probably disrupted the cloaking temporarily.
Okay. And so when she looks up, like, okay, that's how they got out. Would she see Mantis on there?
I was gonna say, as you bust up and you're seeing it, I don't, several blocks away, looking like it might almost be making the ship getting away, and then the air distorts on the roof, sort of in the center, and Mantis appears, force choking seemingly Emily as he holds her up above the ground.
Oh,
This
that's
is
for
on the
sure.
roof of her building or the roof of my craft?
Sorry, the roof of the building with Jillem.
Mm.
Muscle Sheep has
Gotta
an angle.
descend.
Well, if I didn't see him anywhere near my ship, that would have been my next thought, would be to go back to the building, because he did say he wanted bait.
Indeed, and I did see that your ship is specifically fast and maneuverable, so that would not be hard for you to do. All right, but Jillem, this villain I don't even know if you saw him, but now there's this villain sitting in the middle of the roof, choking out your.
Hmm. And at that point, um, she just yells out, "Oi! If you're looking for me, I'm right here!" Like she's
So
trying to provoke him.
he'll just nod and say, there you are. And he'll drop you hard on your ass, Emily.
Ouch. Thanks.
You just stay there and be good. Don't go too far, or I'll. And he'll move his remaining arm blade and kind of hold it near you.
Oh,
Near
okay, okay.
Near Emily, as he'll kind of basically like keep her from going too far. And then he'll look out at you, Jillem, with the mask and the goggles on and the outfit. Yeah, you recognize him. This is Praying Mantis. He's a pro hero that he's on Parasol's payroll. They pay him to take care of noise, so to speak.
And she just looks up like, "Well, now what? I'm here. What do you want?"
I take it the suits weren't much of a threat to you and your friends, eh? We didn't count on you having friends, Jillem.
I'd say most of the suits are plant food right now.
Ah, well. Luckily, they're even more expendable than they were when you were with us. Did you know that the doc finally perfected the cloning technique she was looking for?
No, but thanks for telling me.
He'll smile and move a little bit further away from Emily, kind of walking towards you. Oh, there's a lot that's going on at Parasol right now that you're not aware of. And I'll help you catch up if you come with me.
And you'll let them go.
Like I said, he looks back at Emily. She's not even fit to be a sidekick. We didn't count on you being with anybody. They're not important. Emily, those words probably are a bit hurtful to you, are they not?
Yeah, of course.
So why don't you roll to take a significant blow?
Is that just a flat 2d6?
Let's see. Take a powerful blow is you roll plus the number of conditions you have. So I'm assuming you probably have no conditions right now.
Correct.
So that's just a 2d6 roll then. Cool. So taking a powerful blow is the only roll that you want to roll low on, because missing means you don't get hit.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. So that's good, and you still get to mark a potential for that just because of the way it works.
Cool, that's my first one. No, never mind. Not my first one.
So on a miss, you stand strong. You can mark a potential and say how this otherwise really hurtful emotional comment isn't gonna incapacitate you. How do you overcome the hurt?
You don't know anything about me to be saying I'm good enough for whatever standards you have. You don't know anything about any of us.
Well, I think you'll learn, little girl, that most pros, heroes, villains, in between, we don't care much about what kids like you say, or what Jalim says, or what anyone in that ship thinks. You guys are just tools for us, kid. Don't get too big of a head about taking out a few gargoyles.
Have I arrived on the scene yet?
I'd say your ship would just now have a sort of you're above them on the roof.
If I did overhear any of that, I do have a witty retort.
Yeah, it can loudspeaker through the ship.
I'll say, she's right. You don't know anything about us. For instance, you don't know that this ship is equipped with a mining laser. And I will blast him with a mining laser.
Yes.
God, that's so good. All right, so you blast him with a mining laser. This is still a pro villain, so he does manage to kind of combat roll out of the way. He maybe even has to use that weird like blinky teleport thing again. But ooh, that pissed him off. Oh, he's angry. And I'd imagine maybe a drop hatch opens up in the bottom of the ship, and Muscle Sheave and Highlight fall out and land on the roof.
Why can't you just drop us gently?
You're heroes,
Oh,
you can stick the
superhero
landing.
landing.
Yeah, there you go.
It's cooler
If
that
you can't
way.
do a 3-point landing, what is the point of being a hero?
So you're all on the roof now, surrounding this hero, or surrounding the villain. Sorry. He will kind of tear off his insect-like goggles and look out at everyone huddled around. He's breathing heavy. Okay, Jalim, this has gone on long enough. You come with me, or I'm about to take care of your unexpected friend.
And like, is he still on the ship, or is he in front of her now?
He's on the roof with all of you kind of encircling him and void spawning the ship above him.
Can she sense where Seymour is?
He's maybe right below you, not on the roof yet, but still kicking the shit out of another.
Like literally right below us, or
Yeah, sure, right below you.
Oh, I think I know where this is going, and I love it.
and so she's going to like use her powers to send a signal to Seymour, telling him to just jump up, like as hard as he can. Break the roof if you want.
Any witty lines before this maneuver?
She'll just say, she doesn't really have anything witty to say other than, yeah, you forgot one thing. And then she'll send the signal out.
You'll hear the nice Azzer. You'll hear the affirmation from Seymour as there's a 1 second delay. We see in the comic that he just punched the last suit in the gargoyle head and knocked him over, and then he bends way down, JoJo pose, and crashes up through the ceiling. kind of breaks the roof right in the center there, makes this nice hole. Mantis is caught off guard and again has to kind of combat roll out of the way. And now Seymour's with.
And how does Seymour look any different? Or like other than I'm assuming like bruised a bit, but
Some of the extra plants that went towards making the golem form are starting to like droop and fall away. So he's kind of reducing in mass.
mhm. Okay. And then like she just like, oh, okay. Need to give him like protein later.
So seizing a bit of initiative for himself, Mantis will grab firm hold of his remaining blade, and you'll watch as it starts to charge. This light, almost electricity, starts to run along the edge as he moves faster than you could think, running between the group, making a slash out against Highlight. The second the blade touches you, doesn't cut you, but it's like you get shocked by a taser. You drop.
Oh, this plop.
Just instant stun blade. You just make a nice fool of yourself flopping on the ground for a hot second.
Oh, that's great.
That would be uncool if any of your followers saw it.
I know, totally uncool.
Can I interpose myself between Mantis and Highlight?
Indeed. So that's going to
Like
be a
instinctual.
defend someone.
Okay. Fan, roll plus savior. Okay. I promise nothing.
So close.
So remember,
I'm
you
gonna
guys.
like get between them and be like,
Well, just to remind you guys, you have 3 team. If someone wants to help him with that somehow, you can turn that into a hit.
I mean, I'll help him. Like, I don't know how I can though. Like, I want to help him.
Does anyone have a stronger idea?
I can send another blast from my mining laser in between them to assist.
Yeah, I'll take that. So I'm going to knock the one team down. I'm going to turn that into a hit, Ryukin. So you'll get the treat that like a 7 for the move.
see, it costs you. Expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation. I guess I'm just exposing myself to danger.
All right, gotcha. So you do keep them safe and you get to choose one. So you can either add a team to the pool, take influence over who you're protecting, or clear a condition.
I think I'm gonna clear guilty because I feel better about, I'm willing. It's sort of like an instinctual kind of like Muscle Sheep feels the instincts of like getting between danger and a friend, and he feels less guilty about being this freak essentially.
Absolutely. So putting those bits together, mining laser comes down, makes Mantis take a step or two back, and then that step or two is filled with a big hulking wall of Shiba. As you stare down the villain, any pithy words or just a low rumbling growl?
Much anger, such protect.
Of course, your friends would be as much of a pain in the beep as you are.
You said a bad word.
So Blade comes lashing out at you this time, Muscle Sheep. It's lost the charge, but it's still coming right at your chest, kind of slashing at the exposed.
Come at me, bro.
Are you
Oh.
still gonna defend, or are you
I'm-
gonna?
I'm gonna protect, highlight, because that's what I've committed myself to doing.
Gotcha. So you just are kind of taking defensive stance and kind of holding him, blocking his blows for a minute. What are some of the others?
Jalem's actually going to unleash her powers to reach out to the plants below and try to get them to like reinforce Seymour. Pretty much make up for all of like the bruised spots and the reduced mass.
So you pretty much use the plants in your apartment. So you're trying to reach the ones maybe in the other floor.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there's not. Of course, other people don't keep as many household plants as you do, so there's not the full amount that you'd really need to fully reinforce him. But sure enough, some of them start coming to the surface through that hole he made. But he's losing more than he's gaining still.
Mm-hmm. Oh, damn it.
Emily, you stood your ground pretty well. How are you going to back that up with action?
You know, I don't really know because I don't know how to safely use my powers with everybody around. I don't want to hurt their earsies.
Just in kind of just teaching moment here. The moves of masks are worded in a way that not everything has to be a physical attack. Rolling to take a heavy blow can also include like a big emotional event that might hurt you. Likewise, you can directly engage a threat by shouting at them and cursing at them and trying to provoke them. That's a different move. So not everything is violence based, if that makes sense.
Right. Can she, take the sound away from one of her teammates' movements so they can kind of sneak up on him? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm trying to think how that would work. So let's have you unleash your powers, and we're gonna translate that as you kind of stealthing your teammate.
Alright, where do I do that?
So unleash your powers is a freak roll.
Okay. It's been like a week.
Yeah, I know.
Ooh.
So that's a solid hit. So what you so you're gonna need to mark a condition in order to successfully complete this, and that can translate into the narrative a bit. But you're gonna have the intended effect.
Okay.
So which condition would you like to mark?
I think I will mark insecure. Have talked to Big Talk, but he still kind of called them out on just being stupid kids, so I think she'd be a little bit shaken.
That sounds totally cool. So words are getting to you despite your big talk, but you managed to pull off a bit more with your powers than you're used to, as suddenly, and everyone hears this, besides Muscle Sheep and Mantis still kind of trading blows, the rest of you lose sound as your movements cease to produce an audible effect.
Am I like unconscious?
You were kind of I mean, you got tased. You were on the ground, kind of freaking out, but you're kind of recovering now.
Okay, that's fair with me.
So, did you want to seize the chance to do something, or you're just kind of recovering?
Hmm. I'll recover for now. I was trying to think of what I could do, but I feel like I would accidentally hit Muscle Sheep or something if I tried to intervene after getting tased.
Gotcha. Void Spawn, have you tried to land the ship, or are you still kind of circling?
I was gonna say I'm going to just, since it seems like I'm not really gonna be able to get a good clean shot off from the mining laser, I'm just going to set it to hover and drop down myself because I don't think there's room enough to land. I don't think this is a huge rooftop, correct?
I would say so, yeah. So you can drop down from the same hatch that the others did.
Actually, Seymour's here, right?
Yeah.
He's deflating, but yes.
Okay, I'm gonna use my power to, like, how to explain this? I'm gonna create light over him so he can photosynthesize.
Hmm. So this is an interesting point, and this is not a punishment or me trying to be mean, but just because I think it might make interesting team building later. You try to use your powers. You can't make
Mhm.
sound, so your
Oh, damn
powers
it, that's
don't
right.
work.
Oh fuck! Damn it!
Wait, what
Right.
happens?
Oh, I forgot. Okay. Well, poop.
I guess no. I mean, there'd be a nice panel of you, doing the opera thing again, trying to vocalize and dot 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 speech bubble.
Oh right.
Yeah, I'm just like gesticulating, grabbing at my throat. It's like, oh right.
And Emily's just off to the side, like running her hands down her boombox, like, oh my god, I can't believe I ruined him. Like, go back, go back, go back, go back.
I'm
Like
ruined.
furiously twiddling on the dials on her boombox.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool. So, Muscle Sheep, I'm gonna have you go ahead and make me a danger roll for this.
Danger roll. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Ooh, nice. So, unfortunately for Mantis, he's only got half of his usual weaponry. He's trying to keep up with you, but even being a pro villain, you're a force to be reckoned with in one-on-one combat, and you managed to slip into his guard, lay a big meaty dog punch into his face, and send him sprawling backward.
I'm gonna say, very punch, much hurt.
He gets up spluttering, does a big jump into the air backwards, and lands kind of on the sill of the roof, looking out at. Okay, so you got bodyguards, freaks to help you out, but just so you know, this won't be the last of us. There's a lot more suits where they came from, and there are other villains on Parasol's payroll. You're not gonna get a moment of sleep as long as Belladonna wants your hide. You got that?
Yep.
If I can
So-
interrupt while he's giving his speech, I'm gonna try to lash out at him doing that same kind of whip thing. And I'm going to use my power negation ability, which I've yet to actually use, to try to nullify his ability to teleport away. Because I get the feeling that's what he's going to do.
Gotcha. So, you lash out, they wrap around his, let's say, ankle as he tries to fall back from the edge. Make me a freak roll. We're going to treat this like unleashing powers. I'm going to be contesting that with his own freak roll.
Okay. Oof, nope.
Ooh.
Okay, so mark a potential, always a good thing. You attempt to nullify his powers, and you felt pretty confident about doing it with normal Pandorans, the ones who are mutants who get their powers. You didn't really count his are partly technological based. So what happens as he teleports is you feel like Emily, a tug, as the ends of your arms start to vanish with him.
Hmm.
Gonna take you again.
I'm gonna go with it. See what happens.
Oh,
So the rest of you, and a very limp Seymour watch as Voidspawn vanishes from the rooftop, and then he and Mantis reappear about 10 feet further away over empty space as Mantis curses out loud because you weighed him down and you guys start plummeting.
I am going to. I've done this once before and managed to survive. I'm going to do the spiky ball thing and try to get him underneath me as I'm falling. So when we both hit the ground, kersplat.
Like a, oh, what are those fish?
A pufferfish.
Yeah!
Yeah, pufferfish. That'll work.
Oh wow. Or
if
I
you were
would
watching the session last night, maybe the magic anvil.
the anvil. God, that was so funny. All right, yeah, I will say that works. Just for the sake of it, go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow too. I might mitigate it if you roll really badly, but let's see what the effect.
Sure. And that's just plus conditions, right? Which I don't have any.
Right, correct.
Nice.
Cool. So yeah, so you can mark that potential. That was kind of mostly to see if, even though he'll take most of the impact, you'll take some, but you're able to alien muscle. So nice curse splat as Mantis hits the pavement. You hit him hitting the pavement. There's a loud groan that you guys hear from the ceiling or the roof.
Huh.
But you guys did see your friend disappear over the void, so to speak.
Um, that's are they okay? Like she just looks over the edge.
I'd imagine you're kind of untangling and staggering a bit, but coming up to your normal.
Yeah, switching back to normal. Is he unconscious or just dazed?
He is he's mostly dazed, but he doesn't seem to be getting up like anytime.
Yeah, rather than going immediately back to my normal form, then once I see that he's not like completely out of it, I'm just going to make myself into like a straight jacket around him.
Gotcha. As you I'll just say the rest of you are, either jumping down or going down through the stairs. You'll join them on the ground level there. Mantis stirs a bit, kind of strains against the jacket, kind of gives it up for a bad job, and looks up at Jalim, spits out some bloody spittle to the sidewalk, and says, "I don't know. We didn't know how you were doing it. Still tampering with the doctor's projects when we were chasing you, but with these goons, that makes more sense now."
See, here's the thing. She walks over to him. Is he wearing a mask or anything?
He had like a mantis themed goggles on.
Mm-hmm. So, like, his face is now bare, right?
Correct.
See, here's the thing. I was more than willing to just go along with the program. Not be annoying, not say anything. But then you guys had to attack me in my lab. And then you fired me. Without giving me, the whole 30 days thing. So I'm a bit pissed. So, if you think you're going to leave, no, you're not. And she goes into her pocket, pulls out like the same protein paste that she threw on the gargoyle. By the way, little parting gift. And she just she lathers it all over his face. And to everyone else, it's very foul smelling.
Is it foul smelling to Muscle Sheep?
It smells like the smell of like rotting fish?
Oh yeah, that's rotting.
Yeah, it smells like that, but like 100 times worse.
Especially for a doggy news.
Yep.
It
Well-
depends if Muscle Sheep is the kind of dog human that would eat its own poo.
I mean, he was homeless, so he probably eats a lot of trash.
So you can see, like, when you're smearing this on him, Muscle Sheep kind of perks up and kind of sniffs the air. It's just like slowly walking closer.
No, don't lick it.
He's like kind of got his tongue out. It's like, want to try?
No.
Oh,
You hear a vibration from your duffel bag, Emily, as the Chihuahua is vibrating happily at
At the what?
At
the
the
smell.
Not you either, Paco. That is his name, right, Dylan? Paco?
No. His name is Chico.
Chico! I've only known him like 2 hours.
That's fine. I wasn't getting on your case. And so, like, Seymour, I'm assuming after smelling it, would actually get hungry.
I was gonna say the panels that would follow are Seymour has fully deflated now, and he's looking even like residual kind of exhaustion. He's even more like bedraggled than he'd been before.
Mm-hmm.
But you see this very limp plant thing kind of jump off of the roof of the building and just land plop on top of Mantis's face.
Yuck.
And he's just eating away.
Trying to, it's a little half-hearted because he's very tired.
Okay.
A little
Um,
mouth forms on the straitjacket and says, "Do we take him to the authorities?"
Here's the thing. This guy's under Parasol's payroll. And Parasol does have some sway over the Hero Association. So if we report him, he's just going to get free and he'll frame us for aggravated assault.
Is he not guilty of destruction of property?
Yes, he is. But what
At
I'm saying is,
at that word, you hear a crunch, and the top floor of the apartment building caves.
we gotta go.
Out of curiosity, when he was teleporting and cloaking around and stuff, was that just like buttons on his uniform that he was pressing, or did he have like a device or something?
He's wearing again this kind of insect-like armor, body armor type suit, and there's definitely like gadgets built in around it. There's buttons kind of everywhere as you're intimately connected to now being his jacket.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I've got it's not quite what it's capable of, but I do have the alien tech move. I'm gonna try and study it, see if I can figure out how it works.
Let's say between the stealth field and the teleporting, which one are you focusing on?
Well, I do have my own stealth field on the ship, so I can probably make something like that if I needed to, but teleporting seems useful.
Okay. Is there any kind of roll that you would normally make with that? Roll plus freak.
For if I'm altering a human device with my alien technology, I roll freak. That's what the alien tech move is. I don't know if that necessarily applies here.
Okay, I get you. So you're not trying to alter it, you're just trying to kind of figure out how it works.
Yes.
I would say given your scientific background, and this is kind of what you're good at, you couldn't build one yourself right this second with just this cursory investigation, but you get a pretty good idea that it's the fundamental principle is breaking up matter and letting it move almost like a gas type thing away, it dissolving you and reforming you somewhere else.
Okay. Something that could be useful down the line.
So the building behind you is kind of shaky, being a bit crumbly. And there was the question of what are you going to do with this pro villain you've kept?
Strip.
What?
What?
What did you say?
What did you say?
I said nothing.
Hmm.
So
But anyways, we have to do something about him, or else he will just make things harder for all of us. So honestly, she goes into her pocket, pulls out a single shot pistol. We end it here and now.
What?
What?
Muscle Sieb is going to stand between Jilem?
Yeah.
Yes, Jilem. Muscle Sheep is going to stand between this mantis person and Jilem. And he's just basically going to look at her. That's right. And just basically say, no, not right. We are the good guys.
He's just going to be a perpetual pain. And not to mention, if he lives, it's just going to be harder for all of us. I'm trying to play this smart. The less eyes we have, the less eyes that they have to report back to Parasol, the better.
I don't think that's legal. We're like 15.
I
Wait,
don't
what?
believe age is a factor in the legality of murder.
We're not gonna kill him.
I meant more about her having the gun, but yeah.
Let's see. I would say, although he spoke the fewest words, the one with the loudest voice here is Muscle Sheep. So that's metaphorically. But Muscle Sheep, why don't you try to provoke Jillin?
Provoke. Okay.
So
Provoke
that move,
someone.
it's not just intimidation. That just basically means you want trying to make someone act a certain way.
Okay. Plus superior. Huh. Yeah, this will work. Oh my word, it worked.
Okay, so for PCs on the 7 to 9, you pick one. Either they if they do it, they add a team, or if they don't do it, they mark a condition. So what do you want Jalim to do?
To basically not shoot this guy.
So Jalim, your friends all around you, and especially Muscle Sheep, are trying to say no violence. How does that make you react? Hello.
What?
She fainted.
Was that what did I cut out or was I not heard?
I
No,
didn't
we
hear
I
heard
heard you.
I heard you.
Oh, they died.
Discord decided to flip me the finger and say no.
Oh, I'm
But
sorry.
anyways, I said that Jalem's actually going to get angry, and she's just going to shout out, "What part? What don't you idiots understand? I'm trying to make this easier for everyone. I'm trying to make sure you all live. You cannot fight against Parasol."
Hey, like, chill out a little bit, okay?
Jalem, would Parasol be upset about destruction of their property?
I mean, yes.
Without saying anything else, I'm going to shift underneath Praying Mantis's armor and then just burst out of it to shatter it.
The
Is it gonna be naked?
He's got a like a camo
Under
wife
boots.
beater under that and like a gray plaid boxer shorts. But
How embarrassing.
yeah, so you shatter this armor in this very meaningful way as the gear just kind of flies around the pavement.
It can as one of the can like one of the blades go flying off in a direction, and when that happens, can like Muscle Sheep just get totally distracted and run off to fetch it?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think you want to bite that.
It goes spinning off like a frisbee.
Do you try and bite it, or are you just distracted?
Well, maybe one of the pieces could go spinning off like a frisbee, and he's just like sitting there trembling, looking at Jillim, and as soon as it lands, he just bounds after it. Like he was trying to hold himself back, but just couldn't do it.
Okay. Let me just see. Yeah. Muscle Sheep, mark a potential for embracing the interdict.
Okay, we'll do that.
Right. So Jalim, Void Spawn just destroyed Parasol's property.
I mean, yeah, if you were looking to irritate them, I'm sure that'll catch their attention. But that's not my point. My point is, this guy has seen your face. He can report to them.
Well, my intention was, will they not be mad at him for having destroyed their property?
Oh, yeah, he's gonna get a lashing for it, don't get me wrong. Just, then she just looks visibly frustrated. Anyways, she just looks down the hole, like where I'm assuming you said part of the roof fell apart.
Yeah, the floor beneath that's starting to crumble now, too.
We should get going, and probably get the other residents out. They haven't already left.
Thankfully, and you would hear this, Muscle Sheep, as your extreme senses let you detect, there's no one else in the apartment building. There was a parade today, and most of them seem to have been missing. You wonder if that might be why Parasol decided to attack today.
Wait, a parade and we weren't in it?
Such empty, very desolate, so lonely.
Oh no.
Jim just shakes her anyways, let's just go.
Are we leaving him or taking him?
Take him to whatever precinct. Say you captured him doing whatever. Though be warned, he is in Parasol's pocket. Just be careful of that. I'm just gonna go see if I can salvage whatever I have.
Alrighty. Your lab is basically all but totally destroyed, and given that the building's literally collapsing at this very moment, you're not gonna be able to recover anything.
Right. So, can she at least ransack her little safe that she has tucked away? It's just basically for her monetary needs.
I'll say sure.
Okay. And then she just leaves the apartment building with a note saying she left a note for the building manager or building owner saying something broke. You probably might want to look into that. And in big parentheses, she writes, "Not my fault."
Sure.
Gotta cover your bases.
And so she'll leave the apartment building. I'm assuming you guys are waiting for her.
Yeah, I'd have had the ship land in the street, and we'd have been loading praying mantis into it to fly him to a nearby precinct, I guess.
So, through that scene's gonna go pretty simply. You just need a couple of montage frames of you handing him over to the police, them not immediately recognizing this boxers wearing man, but once you tell them who it is, they're like, "Oh Jesus, you captured a pro." And you managed to escape into the sunset, so to speak. Jalim, you've been struck at the heart of where you thought you were safe. And if his words are to be believed, this won't be the last time they come after you.
Yep.
Dun dun dun.
Yep. Yote.
Okay, so as we left off, you guys had taken Mantis to a police department. Jalim had her doubts about how long he would stay there, but you did your duty anyway, and somehow managed to avoid, thus far, being called back to the H2A for violating your parole again.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I wasn't going to say anything.
Wait, we have to go back?
You've avoided that thus far.
Okay, good.
Now, some time might pass here, but as we're kind of doing that, Jalim, you
Mhm.
have a bit of an issue to solve. You'll get a notice, perhaps, when you return home. If you go back or in the mail later, however you want to do it, your landlord will write you back with a letter full of just the worst disparaging of your character ever and how you ruined the building and how it was absolutely your fault. And they will find you and fuck Parasol. They didn't pay him nearly enough to let you stay there this long. Yada yada yada.
She's just going to look at the note, look up, and walk over to um, the landlord's, uh, the landlord's room, like where she stays, or she stays,
Gotcha.
and knock.
This middle-aged Chinese man will come out of the room and seeing you start raising his cane as if to beat you away.
She sees that, raises that single shot pistol that she still carried. I'm not in the mood.
You're threatening an elderly man?
Well, she's irritated.
Oh, not again.
There goes our hero. He'll be back.
IRL hero duty.
Yep. But
So
yeah, she's just trying to be threatening to him. Like, I'm not in the mood.
you will manage to threaten him back into his room and he'll shut the door and you get the feeling he's calling the cops on you, probably. And basically what you'll get out from him through the shouting and all is again what the letter says, that Parasol couldn't have paid him enough to let you stay there, which is a bit of a shock for you because, as far as you knew, you picked this apartment and were paying for it. You didn't know the company was tracking your business like that.
She's more pissed that she was effectively paying double rent. Like, you son of a bitch, you double charged me.
Yeah, well, you were paying the rent, they were paying the hush money. But the problem you face now is where are you going to live? You do not have a living arrangement currently.
Yeah, this is awkward.
Okay, I'm fine.
Hello.
I don't know why that
Okay.
page did over the emergency line, but
Hero duty not necessary.
no, not right now.
Emergency, emergency. There's cake in the conference room.
I'd go.
It's like, emergency! Get this patient out for a transfer that we already arranged an hour before.
All right, so because we had left you guys kind of together in the ship after departing or after dropping off the villain, your immediate question is, where are you going to spend the night? And you have your friends with
In the park, let's do it.
My ship does have accommodations.
I mean, my parents are kind of rich, so I have a couple spare bedrooms.
I probably live in a dorm.
It seems you mostly have your choice: the park, a house, or my ship.
I
The park it is.
mean,
What's that supposed to mean?
I didn't even say anything. You're the one putting words in my mouth. Anyways, as there no offense to you, but I don't think I can live on a ship for more than 12 hours. I'd probably go stir crazy. So, I mean, Emily, would your parents mind?
I mean, I don't think they would. My one dad's works overnight, so he's not home half the time, and my other dad's a surgeon, so he's not really home a lot either. So yeah, it would be totally fun.
All right. Well, I don't have anything to pack because, it got blown up.
That's
And they're
okay.
like, though, will your fathers have a problem with this guy? And she just holds up Seymour, who's just like clinging to her arm.
We'll just not mention it. It'll be fine.
Just like put it in a duffel bag.
With
No, that's where
Chihuahua.
Chico is.
No.
A different duffel bag.
A duffel bag for every pet.
Okay, so we're gonna split the scene a bit. We'll get to Jalim moving in with Emily in a little bit. Sort of as
Sorry.
are we losing you again?
No, that's my pager.
Oh, gotcha. Cool. So, other than those two, as some of this time is going to pass in the montage, had a couple things for some of the rest of you. Void spawn, probably not even the next day. Your special souped up Earthling phone is going to get a call.
I'll curiously check to see who's calling first.
We would like to talk to you about your credit card.
Oh
Oh,
no.
God,
no.
Not even
Void spawn
alien.
would probably fall for every telemarketing scam.
No, honey.
Of course, the irony is he also doesn't have anything that they'd be interested in.
You probably have like a child phone.
I don't even have a social security number.
You need that phone that parents can like control.
Wait. Hold on. Does that mean you're an illegal alien?
Oh my god.
Rest in pieces.
Emily, erase a potential.
Like just gets deleted.
Kicked out of IGC. No longer allowed to be here. I'm done.
So long and thanks for all the fish.
Mm.
Okay, but it's a number that you don't remember putting in your phone, but someone did, and it's got a caller ID. Titanium.
I'll go ahead and answer it.
Void, is this you? Are you safe and alone and okay to?
Yeah, I'm okay to talk. What's up?
I just it's been a couple of weeks.
Oh God.
Sorry.
It's been a few weeks, and I didn't know if you had or any of your friends had heard anything more about Mary.
Unfortunately, not too much, I'm afraid.
You don't have any leads? I thought if anyone could find him, it would be you guys.
And I did already tell her what I had found out, right? I think I did.
I don't know that you expressly did, but you could have if you wanted.
If I didn't, then I would now at least.
And succinctly, what is it that you had found out?
That is a solid question. I remember the question that I had asked for my investigation was, did I know of any villains that could change their appearance using technology? And I did get a name, I think, but I don't remember what it was.
I think I had said that there were multiple different heroes and villains that had that kind of ability, either with tech or their own mutant power, or however they.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Her tone will get a bit more defensive and say, like, you guys were the last ones to see him, and you put him there, so if you're taking care of anything else first, please make that your number one priority, okay? Or else I'll be mad at you.
I assure you, at the moment, it is my number one priority. We had to deal with one of my allies' friends, shall we say, but that has been resolved.
You'll hear a sniffle and toward a few more pleasantries, a bit unpleasantries, and just before the conversation will end, she'll say, "And the bag of popcorn you left last time is empty. So next time you come, I'm hungry, okay?"
Duly noted.
And the phone will click. Okay, Muscle Sheep. I'd imagine that over the next day or two, you'll be in your park doing Muscle Sheep.
Morning exercises.
50 sit-ups, 50-mile run, or whatever it was.
5 kilometer run. 50 squats. 50 push-ups. At least that's what he would want you to believe. Really, he's just chasing squirrels in the morning.
Nice. Well, what will happen the evening after you guys end your encounter with Praying Mantis is you've gotten these flashes of instinct before from the inner dog, but that will come at like turn up to 11 all of a sudden. You'll be struck still, you'll stop moving, and you'll get the overwhelming sense that somewhere something has happened.
You smell the danger in the air.
You'll get the sensation that it's almost, again, as a dog, it's almost like the person you were waiting to play with exists now.
Oh no. Excitement.
And thrumming through your mind, you hear the words, "Come, our challenge will be legendary."
Much concern, such worry.
That,
Very,
that,
very fear.
that is
Such
the
what?
end of the vision. At the end of that, the sensation will pass, and you're a dog in a park again. Where'd that scroll go?
Borf?
All right. Highlight. Interesting thing will happen. You had spent some time publicly chasing after the Marrow lead, hadn't you?
Mm-hmm.
So following your feeds and your comment chains as any good media influencer does, people had been for the past couple weeks I think I saw him highlight. I think I saw him down at the pub on 3rd Street with a very blurry picture of someone who only vaguely looks like Marrow.
No. So it's not even like a solid lead.
But all of a sudden, as you're flipping through, you find a comment kind of buried in it's not very highly upvoted, but there's someone that says they're pretty certain they really did see Marrow. He was down by the water purification plant on the east of town, and they couldn't get a picture, but please, Mr. Highlight, you really should check it out. I swear I saw him.
Well, why not? I will go investigate it.
All right, are you going civilian style or in full hero regalia?
Incognito, which means that I probably stand out more.
All right, so the trench coat and sunglasses approach.
Yes. Let's go with the tried and true favorite.
All right, gotcha. So your feet will take you, following up on this lead, to the far east of town. Far east of town. You've officially left what most people would consider Halcyon City, and you're getting to the part of this artificial island that is more the industrial tech area that is keeping the island floating, purifying the water of the sea for you guys to drink, that kind of thing. This is not even like city proper anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so naturally, there's a lot of blue collars around, and you are standing out like a real sore.
I prefer to.
So, would you like to take a good investigate around?
Yeah, I'll try to see if there are any clues or signs afoot. So would that be assessing?
So, I'll give you two options, and maybe you could even do both if you spin it right. You can either attempt to follow your own clues and assess the situation, or you could try and corner someone and try and weasel it out of them, which I would do more like piercing the mask.
Hmm. I'm really bad at being mundane. So I'll investigate. Or I'll use
Alright, so
my
let's roll
clues.
that. Alright,
Yeah.
so roll to assess the situation.
Oh, nice.
So go ahead and ask me any of those, or if you have a separate question for this particular situation that you want to ask.
Let me check the questions again. Okay, what here can I use to blank? What here can I use to figure out where Meryl went?
So you'll be sniffing around, and even for being someone who really likes to be seen, that almost helps you be better at not being seen when you really need to be. You're able to even sneak into part of the plant, the purification, and looking around. Oh, they have security cameras inside and outside. Oh, you might be able to find something if you were able to look at that footage.
Ooh. How am I gonna do that? I'm gonna have to be my superhero self.
You might have to.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. appeal to the good workers of this purification plant and try to schmooze my way into seeing that footage.
So I imagine you duck into, either a janitor's closet or the bathroom to strip your trench coat and don your hero.
Yes, in my regalia. It's not regalia, but as it were.
All right, so let me look at your audience real quick and see if that has any bearing on.
Oh yeah, I can seek help from my audience, but I have to roll superior.
I was just saying you didn't have to pick an option about like how widespread your audience is.
Mm-mm.
I think there was
Actually,
an
let me
option
double
for
check
being
that.
like crazy popular, but there wasn't like a sliding scale or anything.
Yeah, so you
Yeah, let
did
me double check.
you didn't pick that you have a much wider audience.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so let's have you roll plus superior.
Oh boy. Okay. Yes.
Oh, okay. So most of the workers here are probably middle-aged, big burly guys. They're not the types that would probably follow up-and-coming heroes on the Twitters and the Instagrams.
Wait, what?
They're burly old Gen Xers, but
That's what it's called in this universe, the Instagram.
miraculously, as you start showing off and trying to talk to people, one of the men and one of the security guards, they're like, "Yeah, I think my daughter likes you. You're the one that they always scream about with the lights, right? She thinks you're so handsome."
Oh, she's right. Thank you.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, I really shouldn't be doing this. We're owned by the city. City likes to kind of keep its hands out of hero work. I mean, there are some proper channels you could go through, but this is for heroing, right? Good call.
Yes, all in the name of good, sweet justice, my fine citizen.
Well, how about this, youngster? I'll let you in. You can shadow me while I check the security cameras. Good internship experience for you. And well, if you just happen to sign something while you were in there for me to give to my little girl, then well, that would just be very fantastic. Would
Why, yes, it would. I'd even sign two small things.
right? So he'll take you up there, and after securing those autographs that are just gonna make his 12-year-old daughter's night.
Yes. Doing it for the
So
kids.
the kid not much younger than you. But so
Details.
you'll get a chance to review some of the footage. Maybe not perfectly extensively, but definitely some.
Do I catch anything that really stands out?
What exactly are you looking for? Is the important question.
That is a good question. Oh my god. Well, I know what he looks like. Oh shoot, wait, but can he transform? I'm gonna look for what he looks like normally and like that huge hulking version of him too.
Okay, would your instinct lead you to look in or outside of the plane?
Oh man. Outside. Because I don't think they haven't been talking about having intruders in there, so I figure it'd be outside.
Gotcha. So you'll kind of look around and you'll check on your phone real quick the timestamp of that comment the guy tipped you off on, and it was for like 2 days ago. You'll kind of go to that time. Um, Surprisingly, there's a surprising amount of foot traffic around this area at night. You get the impression that maybe some less savory types try to leave the city behind, so to speak, to do their business. But zooming around, you're not in NCIS. You can't enhance the footage, but it looks like
Zoom in.
That might be Marrow. Yeah, a couple nights ago, out back by the side. It's kind of grainy, but you could.
Oh, nice. When was this? Was it at night?
Yeah, 2 nights ago.
Oh, what are we doing?
So this would have been the evening before your showdown with the Mantis.
Huh. I'll have to remember that. I don't have anything that can take this footage. Well, is the guard still in there with me?
Yeah, he's supervising you in the way that adults supervise kids they don't think are going to get into any trouble.
Oh, so he's not really paying attention to me.
Yeah, mostly.
So I'm gonna wait. God, this is so dumb, but it's the only thing I have. I'm gonna wait until he's like distracted, and then I will. I'll film the part with Nero with my phone.
Easily done.
And that's all I find, right?
Yeah, pretty much. You try and go back a bit further, see if this is like a repeating thing. You're not able to find much, though.
Okay. Well, I will wrap up here. Thank the guard for his assistance. And I probably contact someone about this.
Yeah, I'll let you kind of disseminate it when we get the whole group back together.
Got it.
So, Emily, how do you bring your totally not girlfriend home?
Oh no.
This is my totally not girlfriend. We're totally
This
not.
is her plant and her 7 dogs.
5, technically.
We'll get there. We get her in first. She'll let Gilliam in. Go ahead and let her in and kind of tell her to go pick a room like somewhere around mine. That way they don't get weird about it, and I'll go ahead and talk to them. And please keep the dogs in there for now, please.
And she just like takes out the whistle from that controls them, gives like a small like toot basically to just have them follow her.
I would like to point out that Muscle Sheep is also following.
Okay, so
So
Muscle
let's go.
Sheep is following.
Oh no. Please, go sit in there with her. I can't. It's already gonna be weird enough to have one of you here, and not both of you.
Oh, I thought we were all hanging out at your house. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean that could totally be a thing.
I like to imagine you just heard the whistle and showed up.
That's what I thought too.
That's what I thought.
I'm sorry, I thought we were all there because we had discussed it, but no, Muscle Sheep is in the park.
Oh, okay.
His ears probably perk up for a moment, then he goes back to laying down and sleeping.
Yeah, they perk
Okay.
up, and somewhere in a cell, the dog whistler turns over, muttering in his.
she'll she'll go ahead and try to find Hugo. because he's definitely the easier dad to talk to about this kind of situation.
Okay, so you would have brought her like that night, right?
Yeah, she would have gone ahead and like let her in and tell her where everything is before approaching anybody. That way, ask forgiveness rather than permission.
So I'll say about this time, it's probably getting towards later in the evening after the day's excitement. Uh, Hugo is probably, you know, getting dressed, eating toast, anime girl style, and kind of getting ready to head out for work since he works third.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Emily, glad to see you're home. Bit late. Was there volleyball practice?
Yeah, and I got caught talking with, one of the girls that goes to school with me. Do you have a minute?
He'll look down at a watch. Yeah, hon, I have a minute. Just a few, though, okay? I do need to start heading.
Yeah. So there's this girl that I go to school with, and you'll probably hear about it tonight when you're doing your show. But her building like collapsed while we were at school, like complete freak accident. They still don't really know what happened, but like everyone's fine. But she doesn't have anywhere to go, and I I might have told her she could stay with us for a little bit.
He'll kind of like let out a long breath and say, "Oh well, jeez. I mean, I'm sorry to hear about that. I mean, it's Halcyon City, so I mean, unfortunately, things like that aren't too uncommon. But hmm, I mean, I think it's a good thing that you're trying to help out your friend Emily. But you know that the one between us that really makes these decisions is Scott. So we're not going to kick her out for now, but you need to talk to your dad about this, okay? He'll want the full, you know.
Yeah, I was really hoping I wouldn't have to, but okay. You have a good time at work, Dad.
I will. Like I said, don't make her feel unwelcome, all right? Like she can have anything she wants, just maybe don't get too comfortable until Scott's had his word in. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'll get it figured out and I'll talk to him.
You be good, dear. He'll like ruffle your hair and kiss your forehead and again, piece of toast in mouth running out the door. Anime opening starts.
Yes, nice.
So is Scott home? Is the question.
Not now. You don't know. Hmm. You don't know particularly why. You know that sometimes, whether you think it might be business, but your other dad seems to sometimes just come home much later than.
Okay, yeah. I know he does kind of aid a lot with the heroes and helps them out a little bit with any injuries they have or anything since he has medical background, but he's probably, you know what? He's probably at that building or he's working an extra shift to make sure anything that comes in from there is taken care of. Which is a relief because that means she doesn't have to tell him yet.
Tonight.
One night at a time. I mean, if they play their cards right, they might not even know she's there. Maybe.
Yeah, Jalim, how are you going to ensure that they definitely know that you're there?
No.
Well, first things first, like you just hear. Well, one, she has a Great Dane, and Great Danes make a lot of noise when they move. And then, not to mention, the dogs start barking because they're not used to this place. And then, from the room that she took that had like she saw with windows at least. If Emily walks outside, she'll see Seymour's uh not tendrils but its vines extending down and going into the like planting itself in the ground from the window.
Oh my god, the gardener's going to hate me.
So actually, do like any birds or like squirrels run by?
I mean, they kind of live in a pretty, like, ritzy little subdivision, so they all have fancy yards and pretty trees in the backyard, so I'm sure there's probably a decent amount of, like, acceptable wildlife in their area. So yeah.
I was gonna say if there is one running by, you see the vines grab onto like a squirrel and just like slowly devour it.
Rest in peace.
Rip.
Yep.
If only Muscle Sheep had those kinds of reflexes.
Well, does Muscle Sheep eat them?
We haven't seen him catch one yet. We don't know.
That is the true character art.
Trying to see if you could catch one.
And then, like, finally, just like for one more little bit of annoyance, the Great Dane actually just like comes running down the yard or running down the stairs, making a lot of noise. And then it just like sits in front of Emily, staring.
This was a terrible idea.
And it has the smile of food soon.
I don't have any dog food. Yes, yes.
Its tail starts waving, and it hits the floor rather hard.
Suddenly you are visited by a thought, Emily, that, yeah, there's a reason you guys never had any pets growing up. Scott hates animals.
Wow, as if he wasn't already a dick.
All the while, Dexter keeps staring at you expectantly.
Alright, hey, Gillum? What do you feed them?
Normally I'd feed, like, Jillem comes downstairs, like, and she's flanked by the rest of the dogs, and normally I feed them dog food, but I still have to go buy some. I mean, why? What did you think I fed them?
I don't know if, like, you had a brand or something. We could probably, like, Postmate some over here.
I mean, we can. I mean, it's just like the good thing is like it's generic store brand. I haven't gotten anything fancy.
Okay, but the delivery boy for, DoorDash is that his, power is super speed, so he doesn't even have to wait on him. He just gets there.
Yep.
I can see it, yeah.
Mm.
So, gonna. I would like to do something. I'm not sure exactly how to do it. I'd say you guys can get you'll get the food delivered. You'll start feeding the dogs and stuff, and you'll be hanging out together. Um, this is actually a pretty big moment for the two of you because to invite her here, Emily, you've kind of had to reveal your secret identity to her. You've showed her Emily, not just Beatbox.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jalem, you're used to being pretty alone while still being lorded over by your mentors, but you've not really had good friends before now.
Yep. So yeah, this is a bit odd for her. So
So, unless you guys are opposed for character reasons, I don't know if you wanted to try and do a comfort or support move on each other, since we haven't really used that.
I mean, like, for the most part, Jalem is still a bit miffed that she couldn't put down Praying Mantis. So she's just like, she hasn't vocally like lashed out since, but like she's been pretty reserved.
Maybe Emily can help work out that anger.
I mean, I feel like they probably did get off on a little bit of a wrong foot with their different viewpoints of how to handle them, but her being willing to take her in was kind of an olive branch. So as much as they're probably chafing at having to share the space and Emily trying to like talk Scott into this, I think they'd probably bounce some good feels off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, Emily, just roll me a plus mundane. Just, we'll see how this goes. Unfortunately, not quite.
Oh dear.
So there's definitely some good feels trying to be bounced around, but despite trying to get her to let go a bit, unclench a bit, you get the feeling it's gonna take more than a couple of days of being nice to get someone like Jalim to open up.
Emily's also an only child, so she's probably not used to having to deal with people like that often.
Okay, so that got everyone kind of settled in with their individual little checks there. Right before we'll end, sort of the closing of this session, you guys could all meet maybe in Muscle Sheep's Park, and at least one of you has news they'd like to share.
Da 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 da. That would be me.
Hello.
Is he just like sitting there on the bench?
You assume too much of Muscle Sheep. He's probably out around chasing squirrels or getting a drink from the water feature and probably smelled you and ran up, greet you all.
Aw, that's actually sweet.
Hello, welcome to park.
So when everyone's together, which I'm assuming we are now, I tell everyone to like check this out, and I show them the footage on my phone.
Okay, what exactly am I looking at?
And then highlight. I look at it too, and I realize it's kind of blurry. And like, it's Marrow. You know, the guy that escaped.
Hey, Void Spawn,
Yes.
would you like to roll plus freak to try to enhance the video footage?
As long as I get the impression I'm not going to destroy his phone in the process, sure.
You don't think you will?
Oh my god.
Don't trust the DM.
Well, it's gonna be funny if it happens, so out of character, sure, why not? In character, yeah, I trust myself.
So, sort of acting on instinct at the blurry video, Void Spawn will reach out and try and enhance your phone with his alien technology.
And before it becomes
How
a
does he
mid
do that?
By not doing it.
He's an alien, who knows?
Yikes, that's pretty low.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Okay, how were you? How would that have looked? How would you have tried to do that?
Well, probably by using the premise of how the zoom and enhance is supposed to work, where you give it like predictive imaging, where it says, okay, well, there's just one large pixel here, so this is what it should look like if it were broken into 20 smaller pixels. So I guess kind of messing with the putting in like an AI code that messes with the way the image is displayed.
Gotcha. So you attempt, I imagine, like you kind of reach out and maybe your hand touches it and becomes your semi-liquid form to kind of mess. Um, not hugely successful. You guys, it does sharpen the image a bit. Everyone kind of gets a chance to see that, yeah, that's Marrow. It looks a lot like him. But then your screen keeps zooming in and in and in and in until you're staring at like a white screen.
Zoom out, Void.
I am not doing that on purpose.
What happens when I like try to like jam buttons on my phone?
You try and like exit the app and bring up Facebook, and it's just you're super scrolled in on the F of the Facebook logo. You try and type, and you can only see
my God.
parts of letters.
I
He
look at
broke
my
the
phone.
he broke the zoom tool on your phone.
So like no matter how hard I try, I can't zoom out.
It is. You ever have those old video game controllers where the C stick would always slightly tilt to the?
Yes.
Your phone is always slightly attempting to zoom in now. You can fight it, but it's a losing battle.
Why are you like this? Who hurt you?
You broke my phone.
I did not mean to do that.
Well,
I just have like a moment.
well, I mean, you're a star, aren't you? Don't you have like money for a spare? Or rather, I thought you would keep a spare.
It's not the point. All my memories are with this one. The sentimental value. This is where I posted that one post. And I had something, but I just totally lost it. But he just starts rattling off like really superficial things that don't really matter. Like I posted this and it got me this many followers.
Did you see what he was doing or where he was going?
Well, from what I can remember, he was just prowling around the purification plant. They didn't really catch much besides that he was there.
Did it seem like he was, I believe the phrase is, casing the joint?
Would I don't even know if I would know that. If you
If
mean he was stalking it, then yes.
it's now that you think about it and you're trying to answer his questions, you didn't spend a lot of time with Marrow, but he definitely, you kind of got a bit of his body language. The Marrow in this video was very calmly and mechanically just walking around, very even, straight backed, looking around politely at anything it could see before it walked off camera.
Oh. Yeah, it looks like he was getting a scope of things.
So, I mean, look, I don't really get what I'm supposed to be looking for here. I
It's
mean,
the fact that he was there. And now
who is
we can get him.
this?
Oh,
I don't know who this is.
I guess all four of us forgot. Well, I at least forgot. How do we explain this guy?
He was the person
He's-
that you had encountered at the jewelry store and
Oh.
called us over to intercept.
Oh,
And Void's new best friend.
Wait.
You don't know that.
So
I say it sarcastically because you took him to the cops.
So then, wait a minute. So he broke out, or
Yes,
something.
it has been in the news.
Sorry, I've been keeping my head busy with my work, so.
Yeah, it's all over. If we find him and catch him, they'll have to take us seriously.
If they did not take us seriously for catching the praying mantis, I don't think catching Marrow for a second time will.
It's all a cumulative effort. That's how it works. You start off with one, and then slowly, over time, you just get more and more.
Uh-huh.
Well, at the very least, probably someone offhandedly making a comment that not everything is a subscriber count highlight. That will be the final text box of this issue.
That literally does not compute for me.
Like,
So-
Jillian would say something along like, there's more to life than social media, right?
Just like, wait, what?
Yeah, let me tell you something. Like, she leans in conspiratorially and whispers, but everyone can hear it. There's another facet of reality where you don't have a phone.
And I just gasp
Like right
in
now.
recoil and horror. Don't say that. Don't remind me.
You worry me sometimes. Like, I'm serious, you actually worry me.
I'll take that as a compliment because you're thinking about me.
And I immediately regret it.
So are we gonna chase after this guy?
I mean, we have nothing better to do. I have nothing better to do.
I have already promised someone that I would.
Ooh, secrets, huh?
Okay, so a lot of things happened in this issue. Some things came to a close, some new things have started. And Jalim, your world is really rocking. But now you guys have a strong clue and the first lead you've really gotten on how to track down Marrow, which is kind of how this whole thing started. So we'll see where that follows next week. Before we close, as usual, we have to do the end of session moves. So let's start with a welcome back present for Muscle Sheep. You get to go first. Did you over tonight's session get closer to the team, more into your own image of yourself, or away from the team?
That is a tough one. So I don't feel like I really did anything significant. I think maybe got closer to the team from the whole interjecting to protect. Was it Highlight or Jillim?
It was highlight.
It was Highlight. Just kind of putting himself in between that.
Yeah, I can absolutely see that. So, let's see. Highlight. Do you have influence over Muscle Sheep?
I don't think I do.
Okay, so you can get influence on Muscle Sheep, and you can either clear condition or mark potential.
I'm gonna clear the condition of being angry.
You have found inner peace.
The ultimate goal.
Emily.
Sometimes you must not chase the squirrel, but let the squirrel come to you.
Oh, very profound.
Like, did you say let the squirrel come to you or let the squirrel chase you?
Let the squirrel come to you.
Okay, you had cut out the last minute there. Like, wait, what?
Emily, what is your end of session state?
Um,
She is insecure from earlier, so I'm not sure.
Well, I meant more, sorry, the closer, further away from the team, or into your own image of yourself.
Definitely closer. Gillum now kind of knows her secret identity, and if she didn't already have influence over me, I would give it to her now. But definitely closer.
So yeah, you do already have influence over her, Jalim, but Emily, you can go ahead and either clear condition or mark potential.
Alrighty, I went ahead and took off insecure.
Cool. Void spawn. Same questions to you.
I'd say closer to the group and kind of jumped into the middle of the fray, tried to help everybody out with the escape and everything. So I think that's fitting.
Anyone in particular made you feel extra welcome or involved?
I think actually maybe Muscle Sheep for standing up and saying that killing would be wrong.
Cool. Do you have influence over him, Mushi?
Against over who?
Void spawn.
I do.
Oh, cool. So you get to keep that. And then void, same thing, potential or clearing a condition.
I don't have a condition, so I guess potential.
All right. Highlight, your turn in the spotlight.
My favorite. I feel closer to everyone. Nothing like a good near murder to bring everyone together.
And if you had to name someone,
Muscle Sheeb for protecting me. I'm already thinking about what toys to buy him as a sign of gratitude.
so you will get influence over highlight, Muscle Sheep,
Okay.
and potential or condition cleared for highlight.
I'll mark a potential.
Gotcha. So the last one, Jalim, you've had an interesting session. So how are you gonna drill this down?
I mean, like, she lashed out to the group, like especially when they wouldn't let her just finish the job, so to speak. So, but then again, at the same time, she's also had to open up. She's had to allow herself to be like seen as vulnerable because she doesn't have a home. She has nowhere to go, and she's actually shown this side to Emily, who was graceful enough to take her in, as well as the dogs and Seymour, who may or may not be messing up the garden.
Sounds like a interesting choice you have to make.
Yeah. If anything, like she is getting closer to the group, although by proxy she's probably going to be getting the closest to Emily for like in the next coming days. Although granted, it will depend on how her other father, Scott, was his name,
Yep.
will react to the 5 dogs and the plant thing suddenly growing on his property.
So I'm pretty sure, but yes. Emily already has influence over you, so you can
Yep.
just go ahead and clear condition or mark potential.
I mean, I'm pretty low on potential tracking, but honestly, I'll just grab a potential track. I'll keep anchor for now.
All right, cool.